In Luke's gospel, Jesus is the one who comes to seek out and save the lost. What shepherd among you, having 100 sheep and losing one of them, does not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go in search of the lost one? Or what woman, having 10 coins and losing one of them, does not light a lamp and sweep the house until she finds it? There is an incompleteness as long as someone or something is missing. We are not whole. This is not a new story. It goes all the way back to the beginning. In the book of Genesis, we find Adam and Eve in the garden, eating of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, hoping to seize divinity for themselves. But all they ended up in doing is breaking the circle of grace, taking what can only be received as gift. After the graceless meal of Eden, the eyes of Adam and Eve were opened, and they saw themselves as threatened, vulnerable, and alienated from God. At the end of his gospel, Luke tells about 2 disciples who are making their way to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles away from Jerusalem. The risen Lord shows up and walks with them, but their eyes are kept from recognizing him. But as they near the place where they are going, Jesus appears to be going further, but they urged him, "Stay with us. It's nearly evening." So he went in and sat at table with them. And then he took bread, blessed, broke it, and gave it to them. And their eyes were opened, and they recognized him. After the graceful meal of Emmaus, 2 lost disciples found themselves in the presence of God. This completed the circle and closed the loop of grace. But there is a postscript. Luke tells us that same hour they got up and returned to Jerusalem. At the beginning of today's gospel, we're reminded that Jesus is on the way to Jerusalem and was going through the region between Samaria and Galilee. 10 lepers called out to him, "Have mercy on us." 10 were healed, but only 1 came back. The one who came back was a foreigner. He is made whole, but he's not simply one more person who happened to meet Jesus. He is chosen to tell us with Jesus something about the journey to Jerusalem, the place where we are all made whole. Because Jerusalem is the place where Jesus is going to give his life away in love. The other 9, no doubt grateful, are heading back on the old path, back to their old villages. But this one, this foreigner, realizing he had been healed, came back praising God, prostrating himself at Jesus' feet. And then Jesus invites him to walk a new path, the way of wholeness. Get up and go on your way. Your faith has made you well. God always offers to us, as a sheer grace, the gift of being itself. But if we try to cling to that gift and make it our own like Adam and Eve, we lose it. The constant command of the Bible is this: what you have received as a gift, give as a gift. And then you will find the original gift multiplied and enhanced. God's grace, precisely because it is grace, cannot be held on to. Rather, it's had only in the measure that it remains grace, which is to say, a gift that we're giving away. God's life, in a word, is had only on the fly. One realizes this truth when one enters willingly into the loop of grace, giving away that which we are receiving. When Naaman the Syrian went into the waters of the Jordan, he was cleansed of his leprosy, healed. He was restored back into community. This completed the circle and closed the loop of grace. But then, Naaman wanted to pay. Well, we all know what that feels like. To pay for a gift renders it no longer a gift, and the bond that was being established is broken. So because it creates gratitude or obligation, to willingly receive a gift is itself a form of generosity. This completes the circle and closes the loop of grace. This is what we do every time we come to the table to do Eucharist. The word Eucharist itself means to give thanks. Giving thanks closes the circle and completes the loop of grace. These past few weeks, we've been reflecting and praying about giving away a portion of our time and talent. And today, we invite you to let what we do here at Mass continue in you, completing the circle and closing the loop of grace.